We are in this beautiful place today by this river. Hopefully, there's no crocodiles close by, but they won't be too far away. It's so beautiful and peaceful. There's people fishing. Yeah, being out in nature is just so has just been so amazing and peaceful, and everything that I thought, like why we need to do this and what it's going to be, it is. Um, and that is because I did follow my intuition. I think that can trip people up sometimes because you're like, no, you're just running away, or yeah, of course, life is easier when you're not working and you just want a holiday, or you should be doing what everyone else is doing, whatever. But if you actually follow your intuition, regardless of anything, I trust it beyond anything as your main priority. I think even into the darkness, even into where you think this can't be right, if it's true intuition, that true gut feeling of that's what feels right, I just don't think you can go wrong. I think it's always going to lead to something good, even if you go into the darkness to start with. We're in this beautiful place today, and for this week's vlog, I really just wanted to, it's nice. I love to be creative and I love to make loads of different videos and explore the nature and everything like that. But I think it's even more kind of like connectable and meaningful, and can have a positive effect if you talk about, the struggles and how you're dealing with the struggles and the real life and authentic life, and just, chat sometimes. And that's what I really like to do. So for this vlog, I just wanted to talk about how it's going. Um, how's it going is that it's starting to rain. But that's life in nature. We've had a lot of sun, we've had a lot of clouds, we've had some rain. Regardless, it's just been absolutely beautiful. We might have to move inside. So we're inside now because it was raining just a little bit. And so, yeah, this journey is not for everyone. I definitely grew up more wild, barefoot, outside in the garden with animals. And that is the feeling that I always craved. I always wanted freedom, and I always wanted to get back to that. And I've studied and learned so many things because I found so many things interesting. Animals, children, gardening, permaculture, biology, sciences. I love all of it, but I never wanted to just do then a 9 to 5 job. I always wanted to do something different, and something, even though there is a lot of different jobs out there, I always wanted to just be free and do it in my own way. And so for me, any type of life, I've always craved more freedom. And the type of freedom that you are barefoot, it doesn't matter what you wear, you're just out in nature, really. That was my kind of freedom that I always wanted. So even though I love this life and I felt a strong pull, like, this is what I want to be doing, I still had a lot of feelings of fear, going into the unknown, uncomfortable, feeling that real feeling of loss and like I don't have a home and I don't know, just feeling like I have no comfort. Um, and also feeling like, and one thing that really, like, the only thing that got me through that was coming back to my Vipassana training and meditation training, where I'm just going to allow those feelings. And the biggest, most powerful thing that I've learned is be able to step back, not take any of those feelings personal, and not create a spiraling chain of thoughts from those feelings, but just to have the awareness. I feel like this, even if I'm like, I feel something, I'm uncomfortable, I don't know what I feel, just to just watch that. And I've really been focusing, going back to being aware of my breath, just the feeling around here of inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. And that's really been calming me. And then also not taking it personally, being able to really not take how your body's feeling personally, and removing that self attack really then allows you to just feel what you're feeling without judgment. And if you can get to that stage, it is so transformative for so many different things. And for all those uncomfortable feelings, and, coming away from, in the city, you're like, you could live and never leave your house. You have so many comforts, and you have food, so much food, and so much TV, and all these stimuluses. All the time you go out and get a drink or whatever, go out and get food. And even though we could do that in the van, but we're coming back into nature. We're purposely moving. We're intentionally like slowing down our lives and coming away from that. And I did feel feelings of, I'm uncomfortable. I want to grab some sort of comfort, even like I want to make a cup of tea. I got to the point where I was like, I want to make a cup of tea all the time just to feel that comfort, you know. Um, but in the van, like, oh, I can't be bothered to, get the water and do all this. So I like to make my life harder in those ways, because you stop grabbing for those comforts. But then, and what people trip up on is being able to get through that to the good part, because when you stop feeding your dopamine, basically you stop responding to those pathways and those urges that you've built up, those impulses, you start to, your dopamine is down until you get that stimulus, and then it'll go up and reward you. But so we've basically kind of been retraining our brain, because I've been letting those feelings be there. I feel uncomfortable feeling that, and just breathing in, out, saying in my mind, in, out, in, out. It really calms you down, and those feelings do just pass if you can really just disconnect from them and just say, even, struggles with relationships, living in a small space, we've had to reacclimatize, to a different type of living and different kind of relationship, because we're together all day. When you don't see each other for 5 days a week at work, it's different. And even getting annoyed at each other, it's coming back to, I'm annoyed, I really want to, lash out, I'm triggered, I want to, say something mean, but no, I'm just going to breathe. Instead, I'm going to let go. Let it go. Don't need to do anything. I'm just going to watch. Out. Watch the breath. In, out. Feel the breath. Feel how you feel. And those feelings pass, and there's nothing so freeing. It just let it go, you know? Let them. Let them think like that. Let them do that. Let these feelings be there. And I think it has slowly been kind of retraining our brains, or my brain, and it's been amazing. And then what happens is, if you don't feed that dopamine, you do get a lull. Dopamine goes down. But then we're topping it up. We're learning to have dopamine reward from natural things again, which is what I like and what I purposely wanted to put myself in this position. So I had to get through that to feel a natural joy and rise, and dopamine rise from natural things again. So being in nature, seeing wildlife, seeing amazing birds and plants and trees and scenery, and views, and it's so nourishing. And I don't know, it brings you such peace. And there is really something about it that it does fill your cup, and all those other kind of dopamine hits that you were getting are just kind of empty, and this fills your cup in a much more substantial, long-term, sustainable way. So yeah, we've gone through we went through a down where we didn't have all our comforts. Um, and then nature started to fill our cup, and I started to feel like, oh, this is exactly where I'm supposed to be. This is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. This is exactly what I wanted. And I wasn't sure. I was never sure. When doing the van was hard, when we were arguing because we were so stressed from doing the van every weekend and not having the tools, and doing it on a hill, on the road, and thinking like, oh God, is this ever going to work? You're not sure. Following your intuition doesn't make you sure. It is scary and it does involve taking risks. But we've gone through the down, we've gone through we feel a bit lost. And now I feel so whole in a much deeper way. And I knew, even though I wasn't sure, I knew, this is more me, this is more who I am and what I love. And now it just feels like, yeah, this is it, this is what fills my cup. And if I'm given loads of comforts, I'm like anybody else. I just stay indoors and watch TV and drink tea and and that's okay sometimes, but it is easy to abuse. But now there's just so many beautiful things and beautiful places. And it did feel like a kind of breakdown, a breakdown of fears and feeling like, oh God, is this the right thing to do? Maybe we can't both live in a van this small and and get along. And but I think, I was saying to Lawrence, like, let's try not to talk. Let's just try to feel and breathe and let things happen exactly as they're meant to happen. If they're going to break down, let them break down, because like breakdown leads to breakthrough. Let everything fall apart, let all the bits fall away, and just feel and try to go through that. You have to go through a lull. When you're coming off of anything, when you're changing anything, if you hit that lull and you think, oh God, this is really bad and uncomfortable or bland or boring or just nothing and I feel empty, that's okay, because it doesn't last. But you have to go through that lull. Your body's recalibrating. Let everything fall apart and just breathe in, out. The worst thing that we do is start to create a spiral of thoughts on top of that. Oh, well, maybe it's about this, and actually, maybe it's actually that, and you've been doing that, and well, I never wanted this actually, and you start to create all these thoughts, and they're just meaningless, and they just add extra drama and problems. And if you can just say, actually, I'm just going to let it go. I'm just going to breathe, and I'm just going to watch and be very, very quiet, very observant. In, out, and everything just comes together. So if you can follow your intuition, I 100% believe from personal experience that everything comes together. And I hope, if one person listens to this and it gives you inspiration and hope, or it just makes you feel like, oh, yeah, I was right. I should have followed my intuition, or I feel like I should follow my intuition, then, this is your sign to do it. Whatever it is, if it comes from a place of love and positivity and it's your gut feeling, do it.